Hey guys, this is Brent with Western Equipment, and today we're going to be showing you the differences between two separate model years of John Deere 3E Series tractors. To my right, we have the 2017. To my left, we have the 2019. There's various different upgrades and many things to go over, so stick with me here and we'll get started. Okay guys, so before we get started here, one thing that I'd point out is that we have the 17 here and the 19 here. If you're using this video for a comparison, you may think, well, what about the 18? The thing is the 18 and 19, there's not that many differences, so we've used a 19 for this purpose. The 17 and prior models are going to look a lot like this machine here. So if you're using that to compare to that 18 as well, this will be a great comparison for you. So starting off, let's talk a little bit about the hood and the front and the structure of these. As you can see, the styling on the hood here is a lot different than from the 17. We've got a lot more curvature here. Same thing on your hood guard here, curvature to match the design of that hood. It's also sloping downward more rather than being more flat. This is built in for visibility to the front of that machine. As we work our way down, we've got a lot bigger headlights on this machine, as we've seen that it's been a need to, more customers want to work at night, so we've enlarged those headlights and made those better. We've changed the screen on these machines to give it, more airflow, more surface area for that air to come in and for cleaning and making it easier to clean those screens as well. As we come over here to the 17, we can see it's a lot more squared off here on the front of the hood, square here on the hood guard. A lot less screen on this model as opposed to the 19, a lot smaller headlights. There's just been a lot of improvement to the front of this machine. Might seem like a very small thing, but very crucial in the way that your machine's going to operate. Another thing here is if we look on the loader, one noticeable difference you can use as a determining factor of what is what. You can see on the 18s and 19s they have the John Deere on the cross member there of the loader, as opposed to the 17s they do not have that. So you can use that when trying to determine what year model you've got. Another thing I'd point out here on the front is the way the hood's open. So I'm just going to go over that and pop these hoods real quick, and then we'll show you a little bit about underneath the hood. On the 17 here, you have the latch here in the front that you pull to the side, raise this hood up, and it's got two locking arms, as you can see, to lock that into place there. So you've got to raise it up, get those locked in there to hold it. We can see here that everything is kind of cluttered. One thing that I'd point out is the fuel tank here has an opening there on top of the hood, so the fuel fill is on top of the hood, as well as your fuel gauge right there in front. Great for seeing that gauge. Maybe not so good here on the front as far as spilling on the hood there, but they fixed that in these later models, and we'll show you as we go through a lot of things. Here we've got our DPF filter, we've got our air filter, we've got our radiator, our burp tank, and then our battery is below that air filter. This has been a common complaint that you have to remove the air filter housing to get down to the battery. Well, like I said, they've fixed a lot of this on this 19 model. So let me pop the hood on it, show you the differences there. Now, as you notice here in the front, we do not have our latch here to open this hood. So what they've done is they've gone in and they've added this pop button here for this hood. So you have to have a key or a screwdriver or something. You'll always have the key to your tractor, so you can push that in there, raise this hood up. Now, as you saw there, that was a whole lot easier to raise. I'm raising it with one finger, it's staying. What they've done is they've gone and made this gas assisted with these shocks in the back. Holds that up. You don't have to get those levers locked into place. Very smooth, very easy. First thing I'd point out is how open this is now, how much of a better design this is. You don't have that air filter in the way. You can easily get down to that battery, whether you need to charge it, pull it out, whatever you need to do, a lot more easily accessible. You can access your radiator for cleaning, cleaning those different coolers there. Also, just really gotten rid of that fuel tank and moved it to the back of this machine to give you more room to relocate that air filter, give you more room for these filters. You can see the top of your engine there, a lot easier for servicing this machine. One other small thing here on these that they have changed is they've changed your side panels, how you can remove those. So you now have these turn knobs here, whereas on the 17 model you had to undo these bolts here. And back here should be a pin, which looks like we're missing. So to remove these, you'd have to have tools. A lot harder to do rather than on these 18s and 19s. So from here, guys, we'll go into the operator station and show you a little bit there. So stick with us here, and we'll move back. So from here in the operator station, like I said, kind of on the front, a lot of different changes. So first one we'll start out with is down here to my right. We've got our twin touch pedals here. On the 18 and 19 model, they've gone to this full bodied pedal. It's one solid piece of cast. Great for that extra strength. You're going to be using these pedals all the time. They're going to be solid and very, very sturdy. Whereas on the 17 model, we've got the two-piece bolt-together pedals. So as you can see, they have the pedal piece bolted onto that rod. They still function the same. They're just a little less sturdy. And these also, since they're cast, they've got this etched-in extra tread here to give for that extra, extra non-slip there, so your feet aren't slipping off when you're using this. Next thing I'd point out is going to be your right-hand console over here. On the 18 and 19, something they've added is they've added this pocket here. At this day and age, we've all got a cell phone or gloves or things we need to put here, so they've added that pocket to store that. They've also added this 12-volt outlet here for that phone charger or whatever that may be that you need. You still have the two auxiliary outlets here that if you need to add in those extra lights or extra switches, you have those ports here. The biggest change over here is that they have added in this toggle switch for the PTO. So now instead of that being a pop button, up for on, down for off, this is now a three-position switch. You have off, you have in the middle here that will turn that system on, but then you have to hold down this button to actually engage the shaft at the rear. Great safety feature, maybe for that inexperienced operator, those kiddos that are just playing with buttons. They won't be able to turn that on without holding it down. So if we go over and look at the 17, like I said before, still got the cup holder. You don't have that middle pocket section to hold that cell phone. You do have one extra auxiliary port there for whatever attachments you may have or extra switches. And you also have the pop button style PTO engagement that would be up for on, down for off. So that has changed quite a bit on this side. Great for the operator as far as comfort and convenience. Next, if we move here to the front, to the instrument cluster and steering wheel portion of the machine, first thing I'd point out is the change in the instrument panel. You can see it has this really great bright display with the black background and the white letters. Very easy to see. The sun won't really affect it if it's shining on there. You're still going to be able to see that really crisp and clear. If you were to move over to the 17 and turn that switch on and look at that display, you would notice that it's got the gray background there with the black letters. I'm telling you from experience, if the sun's hitting that just right, sometimes it's hard to see, whereas on this 17 or on this 18-19, a lot crisper display. While we're over there on the 17, I'd point out the buttons there to the left of the steering wheel. That's going to be on the bottom there is going to be for your computer to change those different functions on that display. Above that, you have your turning signals, and to the right, you have those diesel particulate buttons for the regeneration. And if we go to the right-hand side of the steering wheel there, we've got our light switch. Now, those are kind of spread out, kind of clunky. We go over here to the 18-19 models. They've added this nice, soft touchpad system here. All of your instruments are all together. You got your light switch down here. You have your hazard lights here. You got your two regeneration buttons here, your turn signals, and your computer switch all together. Very nice and easy to get to. So here in the operator station, they've made this to where things are a lot closer together. A lot easier to find, easier to get to there. So another thing that I'd point out is going to be down here on the bottom. You've got your four-wheel drive engagement here. Up is going to be for on, down is for off. They've changed this to a T-handle switch, make it easy to grab with your two fingers here. If you look over on the 17 model, it's a knob. Very small difference, but change that up just to make that a little easier to grab to where your hand's not going to slip off of it as much. Biggest difference on these two machines that most people will notice right off the bat is the difference in the fuel gauges and the fuel tanks. As you can see here on this model, no fuel tank or gauge here in the hood, whereas on the 17 you have both the tank lid and the gauge right there on the hood, which is okay except for in an instance where maybe you're filling that machine and it overfills. You've got that diesel all over the front of the machine. Now you've got a sticky spot where dirt and different things are going to collect. Maybe you're going to be smelling that diesel after it's spilled out. You have to lean over and get up to look and see that gauge. Whereas now on the 18 and 19s, they've moved them back here to the rear. You can see we've got our diesel cap at the rear. If you were to spill here, it's just going to flow off onto the ground either there or in front. And you've also got your fuel gauge here, really easy to see. Just turn your head over there to the left You're going to see that very easy there as well. So those are all the main differences here in the operator station. So if you'll stick with me here, we'll go to the rear and show you the differences there. So here at the rear of the machine, the biggest difference, like we've already talked about, is going to be the fuel tank. You can see as it's made into the rear here, very nice flow, fits into the back of the machine, looks good, the styling is good, and gets it off of the hood like we said before. Back here, you've got the openness on the 17. You know, they don't have that fuel tank there, it's up in the front. So that's the biggest difference. Some of the smaller things we'll point out is, for one thing, is the rollover protection system here. Not a whole lot of difference other than they've changed a little bit on the way that it folds down. The pin system's a little different from 17 to the 18 and 19. It still folds down to get it out of your way, just a little bit different styling. Also, the 18 and 19 is just a touch taller than the 17. One of my favorite differences here, doesn't seem like a big deal, but we, you know, from setting these things up, we know that this is a very neat feature. Here on your center link, top link for your 3-point, you've got this hook. It just kind of hangs there, so when this is connected to another piece of equipment, if you raise it too high, you may run into that hook. When you need to hook this thing back in, you've got to hold it up, use 2 hands to get that thing in the position it needs to be. If you come over here to the 18-19, that top hook is spring loaded. So as you raise it up, stays out of your way. When you need to hook this link back in, simply lower it, and then you've got your hook right there. Very small feature, very neat feature. One of those things that doesn't make a difference functionality wise, but great as far as convenience. One thing too about this 18-19, a little more open under here, a lot more clean. As we look over to the 17, what I mean by that is on the 17 you've got all this wiring that's exposed. It's covered, you know, it's protected, but it's exposed. They've integrated that on the 18 and 19 to kind of clean that up, which is a great thing as well. As far as the functionality, you still have, you know, 540 PTO shaft on both machines. You still have the adjustable top link on both machines. You have the adjustable drawbar on both machines. So as far as, you know, functionality wise and what you have here in the rear, not that much difference. Just a few things, you know, the fuel tank and such. Guys, you know, like you've seen here and like we've just talked about, the difference in the stylings and the difference in some of these features don't change the function of the machine. You're still going to be able to work with this machine, use it to do those various tasks, whatever you may need to do, but they've made these new 18 and 19s more ergonomic. What that means to you as a customer is convenience, making everything closer together, making things make more sense. You know, having that phone holder, because 2018, 2019, you know, we've all got that phone in our hand or we need it, so now you've got that option to store it. They've made these machines on the 18 and 19 easier to work on. Move that fuel tank to the back, give you more space underneath the hood, you know, make things just easier for you as the consumer. But like I said before, as far as functionality, you're still going to be able to do the same jobs, have the same power, do all those things you need to do. So when you're looking to compare these machines, those are some of the things to look for. If you're into the more features and the more functions and the more ease of use, I would tell you to consider looking at the 18 and 19. If you're just looking to get out there and get it done, maybe you've got a used 2017 in your scope there, definitely check it out as well. Both great machines. You're not losing anything going from one to the other as far as functionality. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this comparison. Thanks for watching. Let us know your thoughts below. We'll see you next time. Hey guys, in a 2019 John Deere 3E series tractor, so start it over because I can't get my words right. Get in the bucket.
Ready.
I messed up.
Ready.
Already? Gonna do it from here? Freezing, we should have never took that break. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. My goodness. Good for nothing. Do better one day. Did you like it? You know, you're so pitying me. Life is rough. Yeah, right, me neither.
Who cares about the camera? Ready?
True. Hey guys. Oh, God, we've already done that. All right. Okay guys, so before dang it.